In the bustling heart of New York City, where the morning sun casts a golden hue over Rockefeller Plaza, the Today Show studios hummed with the usual pre-broadcast energy on that fateful September morning in 2025. Kelly Clarkson, the powerhouse vocalist turned beloved daytime host, had arrived with her signature warmth and infectious laugh, ready to promote her latest album, a soul-stirring collection of heartbreak anthems that had already topped charts worldwide. Dressed in a vibrant red blouse that mirrored her fiery spirit, she exchanged pleasantries with the crew, her Texas twang cutting through the chatter like a comforting melody. Craig Melvin, the charismatic co-anchor known for his sharp wit and unflinching journalistic edge, greeted her with a firm handshake and a knowing smile, their history of light-hearted banter on previous appearances setting a tone of easy camaraderie. As the cameras rolled and the theme music swelled, the segment kicked off with effervescent applause from the live audience, who had braved the autumn chill for a glimpse of their idol. Kelly dove into tales of her musical journey, sharing anecdotes about late-night writing sessions in her Nashville home, where the glow of fairy lights danced across scribbled lyrics born from personal triumphs and trials. The conversation flowed seamlessly, touching on her divorce's lingering echoes in her songs, her unyielding commitment to her children, and the raw vulnerability that made her music resonate so deeply with fans. Creig nodded along, his eyes twinkling with genuine admiration, interjecting with questions that drew out even more of Kelly's magnetic personality. But beneath the surface polish of this polished interview, subtle undercurrents began to stir, whispers among the production team about a recent tabloid scoop that had blindsided Kelly just days prior. As the segment progressed into its second act, the studio lights seemed to intensify, casting elongated shadows across the polished set that evoked the dramatic stages of Broadway, where Kelly had once conquered with her powerhouse vocals. Creig, leaning forward with the intensity of a prosecutor in a courtroom drama, pivoted the dialogue toward the elephant in the room, the swirling rumors about Kelly's alleged diva demands on the set of The Kelly Clarkson Show. "Kelly, we've all seen your incredible success, but lately, there've been reports of some creative clashes with your team. Care to set the record straight?" he asked, his voice laced with that trademark Melvin mix of charm and challenge, the kind that had disarmed politicians and celebrities alike. The audience murmured, a ripple of surprise washing over the crowd, their phones already poised to capture whatever raw moment might ensue. Kelly's expression flickered, a brief widening of her blue eyes, a subtle tightening of her jaw, before she composed herself with the grace of a woman who had weathered public scrutiny for 2 decades. She chuckled softly at first, a deflection wrapped in humor, recounting a light-hearted story about a misplaced coffee order escalating into mock chaos during rehearsals. But Creig pressed on, undeterred, citing specific anonymous sources that painted her as uncompromising, a far cry from the relatable every woman America adored. The exchange escalated incrementally, Kelly's responses growing sharper, her words laced with the authenticity that had endeared her to millions. "Creig, you know how this works. Headlines twist truths into knots. I've poured my heart into that show, fought for every guest story to shine, and if that means standing my ground, so be it." The confrontation reached its boiling point as the minutes stretched taut like a violin string on the verge of snapping, the studio's ambient hum drowned out by the escalating cadence of their voices. Kelly, her cheeks flushing with a mix of indignation and passion, leaned into the microphone, her words tumbling forth like lyrics from one of her rawest ballads. "You sit there, Creig, with your polished segments and safe questions, but let's talk real. I've clawed my way from American Idol reject to this chair, through divorces, doubts, and a million doubters whispering I wasn't enough. And now you want to dissect my demands like some scandal? That's not journalism, that's judgment wrapped in a smile." Creig, unflinching, his brow furrowed in that signature earnest furrow, fired back with equal fervor, his baritone steady yet charged. "Kelly, this is the Today Show. We dig deeper because our viewers deserve the full picture, not just the highlight reel. If these reports are baseless, say so outright, but dodging only fuels the fire." The back and forth volleyed like a tennis match at Wimbledon, each point scored with pointed anecdotes. Kelly recounting a producer's overreach that she had to counter to protect her vision, Creig referencing a leaked email that suggested otherwise, drawing gasps from the live crowd and frantic texts from producers in the control room. The co-hosts, Savannah Guthrie and Hoda Kotb, exchanged wide-eyed glances from their anchor desk, their attempts at gentle redirection falling on deaf ears amid the verbal fireworks. Viewers at home, tuning in over breakfast, found their cereals forgotten as social media erupted in real time, hashtags like #Kelly vs. Creig and #Today Show drama trending within seconds, clips already circulating on TikTok and Twitter with feverish speculation. With the commercial break mere seconds away, the dam finally burst in a cascade of unbridled candor that left the set reverberating like the aftermath of a thunderclap. Kelly, her eyes glistening with unshed tears that spoke volumes of battles fought in silence, rose from her seat with a deliberate grace, her chair scraping against the floor in a sound that echoed like a final punctuation. "You know what, Creig? I've given this industry my soul, and for what? To be reduced to clickbait fodder on your watch? I'm done here," she declared, her voice a potent blend of hurt and resolve, turning on her heel toward the wings of the stage. The audience erupted in a cacophony of stunned murmurs and scattered applause, some cheering her stand, others frozen in disbelief as Creig, momentarily speechless, extended a hand in a futile gesture of reconciliation, his face a mask of professional regret tinged with personal surprise. "Kelly, wait, that's not what I meant. Let's talk this through," he called after her, but she pressed on, her strides purposeful, weaving past a stunned intern clutching a clipboard, the scent of her floral perfume lingering like a ghost in her wake. Backstage, the chaos unfolded in hushed frenzy, producers scrambling to cue the break, publicists dialing crisis lines, while Kelly, pausing just out of camera shot, drew a deep breath, her team enveloping her in a protective huddle of whispers and water bottles. On air, the abrupt cut to ads was seamless yet jarring, the screen fading to black amid the unresolved tension, leaving millions glued to their screens, refreshing news feeds for the fallout. Social media became a battlefield of opinions, fans rallying with #StandWithKelly memes featuring her triumphant poses from past performances, critics decrying her as thin-skinned, and neutral observers dissecting the clip that had already amassed millions of views. As the dust settled over the ensuing weekend, the entertainment ecosystem buzzed with the aftershocks of Kelly's dramatic exit, panels on rival shows dissecting the footage frame by frame like forensic experts at a crime scene. Pundits on The View lauded her as a trailblazer for setting boundaries, while late-night hosts like Jimmy Fallon mined the moment for gentle ribbing, replaying the clip with cartoonish sound effects that softened the edges without diminishing its impact. Kelly, retreating to her Nashville sanctuary, channeled the raw energy into an impromptu Instagram live from her kitchen island, flour-dusted from a spontaneous baking session with her kids, where she addressed the frenzy with her trademark candor. "Y'all, that wasn't planned. Craig's a good guy, but sometimes the mic amplifies everything, and I just needed air.
Life est tout short for scripted soul."
Her vulnerability disarmed critics, garnering an outpouring of support that trended #Kelly's heart, with celebrities from Ariana Grande to Oprah chiming in with solidarity posts that amplified the conversation on mental health in the spotlight. Meanwhile, Craig Melvin, fielding interviews on podcasts and morning rounds, reflected on the unintended escalation, admitting in a candid chat with Howard Stern that his questions stemmed from a desire to empower her narrative, not undermine it. "I respect Kelly immensely. We both got caught in the heat of truth-telling, and it's a reminder that even pros can trip over the line." Behind closed doors, reconciliation brewed. Private calls exchanged apologies, shared laughs over mutual war stories from the grind of live TV, paving the way for a potential on-air makeup that networks salivated over for ratings gold. The incident, far from derailing careers, humanized both stars, sparking think pieces in Vanity Fair and The Atlantic on the perils of performative authenticity in an era of 24/7 scrutiny.